I want to highlight an NDTV Profit exclusive, which is that the race for IDBI Bank is actually set to get hotter. Vishwanath Nair joins us now for more on this exclusive story. Vishy, first let's lay out the context and what the story is.
Okay, so the context here is that the government has been looking to sell this bank for a very long time, and they've really not managed to find any strong bidders, or the process is a problem, or the regulator is not convinced. A multitude of issues. This specific sale process started in 2022. So now, finally in 2024, we are seeing 3 bidders being shortlisted, which includes Fairfax Financial, which is Prem Vatsa-owned Canadian financial conglomerate. There's Kotak Mahindra Bank, the local private bank, as well as Emirates NBD, which is the foreign bank in the equation. Now, these 3 bidders at this point in time have received the RBI's nod to go ahead and bid for bid for IDBI Bank. The government will open up the data room at some point in time in the next week or 2, and then the financial bids will be prepared by the end of this year. Maybe by March 2025, you'll have a fair idea of who's actually buying IDBI Bank. Let me make one thing very clear. This is not a very straightforward issue, right? Because of the 3 bidders which have come in, 2 have issues. You've got Fairfax, which has a problem with CSB Bank, the 40% stake that they own there. And then the eventual, if they do win IDBI Bank, then there has to be an eventual merger. And that's where the question is as to who takes the cut, right? Should the government dilute the value of a shareholding, or should Fairfax dilute the value of a shareholding? Depending on that, CSB will merge into IDBI, or IDBI will merge into CSB. Both these propositions don't look that promising. You've got Kotak Mahindra Bank, which has Reserve Bank of India restrictions that have been placed on the bank. It's got a new CEO on board. There's a lot of management bandwidth in question. So if they go ahead with the merger, then that becomes a big headache for the next 2 odd years, because it's a large bank. And the last massive merger they did was ING Vysya, which took 2 years to stabilize. IDBI Bank will probably take even longer than that, right? The third bidder in this situation, Emirates NBD, is probably, at least what I'm picking up from the people involved in this entire process, is probably the best place to take over. They've got 3 branch offices in India, no other presence. So IDBI Bank, with its 2,000 or 3 branches and 3,000 ATMs and a large balance sheet, will give them a big exposure into India. Plus the LIC angle, because IDBI Bank is the primary lender for LIC. So there's a lot of transaction banking revenue that comes in. So that makes it more interesting for an international bidder, even if the core business is still only stabilizing. Things look better that way.
No, so it's interesting for Emirates NBD. I'm trying to understand if it's interesting from an Indian regulatory perspective, because I know the fit and proper certificate has gone, but India and the Indian banking system has not been very friendly to foreign banks.
Yeah, so, only when it needs to, because if you remember with Lakshmi Bank, they allowed DBS to take over.
That was desperate. You wanted to get rid of it. Yeah. IDBI Bank, I know they've been trying to sell it for a while, but it's a good asset. And will they want an Emirates NBD or any of operational foreign banks to come in and have such a huge footprint in India?
It's evident from the fact that it took 1 year for them to give that approval, right? Fairfax and Kotak both already have their fit and proper. They're already active lenders in India. So the RBI is clear on both those bidders. So the one bidder, which is an outsider, which probably needs that special approval, is Emirates NBD. And that's why the whole process has taken this long. July of 2023.
The thumbs up is there. That's why Emirates NBD is in the fray.
The thumbs up from the regulator in terms of process, yes. But what the final bid is going to look like, the government has to agree whether that value that Emirates brings in is worth it. Emirates itself has to first look at the books and say, okay, does this make sense to me at all? Or should I probably wait? Because they're also in race for Yes Bank. So they've got options, you know, they're playing around.
Not a bad space to be in then.
Yeah.
Great, Vishy. Thanks for this exclusive piece of news as well. And this detailing really helped.